Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Edwin Rivera with the Millennial Vultures, and today's topic is going to be a good topic. So make sure you guys tune in and stay all the way to the end. We're going to give you a lot of strategies how to use the equity of your home. But today we have a guest speaker. His name is Jeremiah. Let me bring him in.
Hey
Hey,
everybody,
Jeremiah,
how
how
are
you
you?
doing?
Good, thank you, Edwin. How are you?
Good, good. You want to introduce yourself to the people who's the first time looking at our show from Thursdays?
Absolutely. Hey folks, my name is Jeremiah Flores. I'm with Barron's Mortgage Corporation. I'm a mortgage broker, have lots of experience, over 2 decades of mortgage related experience. One of the preferred brokers for the millennial team. And we have a lot of good strategies that you can use your equity to do a lot of different things in your benefit.
Yes. So today's subject is how to get a HELOC. Okay. And I think HELOCs, to tell the truth, I've been doing real estate for almost 12 years now, helped more than 400 families either buy or sell a house with the team. But HELOCs to me came something kind of new almost 3 years ago. Back then, I don't think I ever heard the word HELOC before. So it's something new because back then it was more like a cash out refinance. It was when someone needed money from the equity, they do a refinance and pull some money out of the equity, but they never do line of credits or HELOCs. So
Correct.
what exactly is a HELOC? First of all, Jeremiah.
Okay. A HELOC really is, it abbreviates for home equity line of credit. And what that means is for most people that may have been able to refinance in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years into a very good interest rate on the first mortgage being very low, they don't want to change that payment. So what they do is if they have enough equity, they can draw a second mortgage, which is going to be considered either a HELOC, or they could do a fixed second. But more importantly, a HELOC is meant to be used kind of like a credit card, but through your equity. And some of
Okay.
the three, oh, sorry, go ahead, Edwin.
No, no, go for it.
Yeah, some of the three biggest factors that most people are motivated right now to do a HELOC on their property is for either debt consolidation, which can be a great benefit because credit card debt and credit card interest you cannot write off. Mortgage interest you can, so that's another benefit. And then second, most families are either growing or getting smaller, but more importantly, they want to create some cash flow. So most families are also doing a HELOC to pull money out from their equity to be able to build either an existing garage, converting it into an ADU, or building a brand new from floor up ADU extension of their home, and either add that for family to live together within the household, but not exactly in the same house, or more importantly, to create cash flow for potential tenants. Because nowadays, if you're trying to purchase a investment property, it can sometimes cost you 500,000 or more, depending on the area that you're trying to buy, compared to doing a very modern ADU or very luxury ADU. It can cost you anywhere between 150 to maybe 300,000, which is literally less than half of the amount of purchasing a brand new investment property. And then third, is being able to use your equity without having to pull money out from, again, either your retirement account or your personal savings or checkings, to then turn around and purchase another owner occupied property or even investment property for that matter. So lots of different strategies that we can help you with regarding transferring or using your equity to the best beneficial financial position for your family and yourself. And that's literally what we're here to talk about today.
And we're gonna go by one, and especially paying debt.
Mhm.
A lot of people have they get into debt. In United States, in my opinion, it's so easy for you to get a credit card. I remember my first credit card when between 18 and 19, they give me 5,000. To me, that was a lot of money. And I tell you this, in less than 3 months, the car was already full. I didn't know how to manage money. So it's so easy to get money through credit cards, but getting out of debt and paying almost 25% in credit
Yeah.
cards is a lot. So a lot of people, yes, they using the equity through a HELOC or HELON uh, to pay off debt that they have, so that way they have a lower rate. Because usually, I believe HELOCs and HELONs, they're probably between 6 to 8%, depending on the FICO score. So it's almost 3 times less than
Yeah,
the credit card interest rate. So you're gonna pay less on interest rate, okay?
absolutely.
And at least you have a fixed payments in most cases as well. Now, so the HELOC. So technically, the HELOCs, if you have a house, so first of all, you need to have a house, okay, to get
Yes.
a HELOC.
Yeah.
You need to have a house. That's usually the money comes for the equity. So that's meaning if you bought a home 2 months ago, only give 3% down payment and don't have a lot of equity, I don't think you can get a HELOC. Or can you get a HELOC?
That's correct. Most cases, it's really a HELOC is really equity driven. So for that exact scenario, what Edwin mentioned about buying a house maybe 3 or 5 or 6 months ago and putting the minimum down, the acceleration of appreciation probably won't get you there for a HELOC. But for some families that did purchase maybe 3 to 5 years ago, we did have that real estate boom where through the year of like 2020 through 2022, a lot of people built some fast equity, which then they can convert into a second mortgage through a HELOC. So it's really driven by equity position. And if you reach out to Edwin or myself, we can absolutely give you a free consultation. Even if you didn't want to come in for a live consultation in person, we could even do a quick verbal, just getting a little bit of gathering information from you, like as far as how much you owe, what's your address, what kind of FICO score or credit score you may have, and then we can do a quick analysis for that scenario.
Okay, perfect. Now, let's say for someone has $1 million home, they bought it years ago, have a, I don't know, 100,000 loan amount. Can
Mhm.
they get all the money out right because they have equity, or you need specific details in order to qualify for the HELOC? What
Great
are the
scenario.
requirements?
Okay, great scenario. So the minimum FICO score is going to be at 660. That's 660 points for your minimum credit score, depending on if it's only one borrower or two or three. Everybody has to minimum credit qualify. And then from there, the maximum, what's considered as combined loan to value, which means we're adding the first mortgage balance and the amount that you want to draw, it's maxed out at 90% combined loan to value. So one of the biggest purposes of a HELOC for most families, at least, depending on when they either purchased or refinanced their property, is to keep their low interest rate on the first mortgage. And then, of course, so we can always do an analysis if either a HELOC or an actual standard traditional refinance cash out may be more beneficial. But of course, we'll be able to present both options so we can kind of look at the numbers, read the math, and understand the financing differences between the two. But in that scenario where the house is worth $1 million, you owe 100,000, you could pull up to 90%. So that technically means the max of 900,000. There are certain banks or lenders that have a maximum loan amount for the HELOC. Some are either at 250 or 500. I do have some that are at 750, which is very aggressive.
Oh,
So
wow.
basically, yeah. So basically, what that means is you have more leverage to be able to use, if you really wanted to, the maximum amount of your equity.
Okay, perfect. Now, what are the requirements in order to apply for a HELOC? Can someone that is not working apply for a HELOC? And do they have a specific FICO score? Income wise, do they need to be able to make the payment? What exactly are the requirements in order for someone who they do have the equity, they
Mhm.
have either want to pay debt, they want to build a pool, build an ADU, or maybe buy an investment property? What exactly are the requirements?
Okay, great question. So the minimum requirement as far as FICO score or credit score is going to be 660 and above. And then, yes, you do have to be employed because you do have to either full document qualify, which means submitting tax returns and W-2s if you're a wage earner. If you're self-employed, we can use either tax returns, depending on if you do cash flow on the business, or even bank statements to qualify. And absolutely, you do have to be working or employed to be able to verify that you'd be able to repay back the loan. So it's very similar to a purchase transaction where you have to credit, income, and employment history qualify. So those are some of the minimum requirements. And then, of course, each person's scenario is going to be very unique. So we can go over the situation, the type of interest rate that you're going to be offered, because a lot of times interest rate is dictated or based off of credit score and equity position as far as like your combined CLTV, which is combined loan to value. That'll factor into what type of interest rate you'd be offered for that HELOC or HELO.
Oh, I see that. Okay, perfect. So technically, it's like a purchase or refinance. Not because you have the equity, you're gonna be able to. Hey, I have equity. Let me get a good portion of my equity on money because you're gonna have a payment, right, on that one. So the bank want to make sure that not only you're gonna be able to make the payment for the first mortgage of the loan, also you need to be able to make the payment for the HELOC and any of the debts that you have. So the bank will make sure that you have enough money to be able to make the payment. Of course, FICO score, make sure you have a good FICO score. In order to get a credit card of any type of loan, every bank will gonna check that you have a good credit history before they're gonna give you money. Even though it's your money because it's your equity, but at the end of the day, the bank is lending you their own money. So they want to make sure you're going to be able to repay because of work and make sure you have a good credit score. Okay?
Yep, that's correct.
Perfect. Now, let's give some examples. Let me move the camera one quick second. Let's see. We're good? More this way, more that way? I think we're good. Okay, perfect. So let me move the microphone. See, we're mobile now. Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
So this is the house. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, I can see the house there.
Okay, so this is the house. Okay, so let's say someone purchased a home. Give me 1 second. To everyone that is watching us, just keep in mind we're doing a live video today. So be patient with us. So I'm trying to see so that way you guys are able to see it. So they bought a home in, let's say, 2019. Okay, they bought the house for 319. Okay, 319,000 in LA. Back then, you were able to get a house for that price point. But now the house, because everything increased, now the value of the home is a total of 750. Okay, so technically you do have equity on the property. Oh, I see that is reversed, right? The numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see this. So 750 minus 319. So it's a total of 431. Okay, so that's the equity that you have on the property. Okay, so that's the equity you have on the house. So this one, most likely, if you were able to refinance, you have a 3% rate on this one. So the benefit of getting a HELOC is that the main loan amount that you have at 3%, you're not going to touch it, right? It's going to continue the same. Now, from the 431,000 that you have on equity right now, instead, because when you refinance, Jeremiah, when you refinance, if you do a refinance, I believe, let's say if you get 200,000 from the equity you have, when you refinance, everything will convert into the new rate, right?
That's correct. When you do a traditional refinance, the original first balance is paid off, and then now you have a combined one mortgage for the 200 plus the 319 that you owe. That would be a new mortgage of 519 as example there.
Oh, okay. But when you do it like this, trying to see if I can swap the camera. I would love if I can do that. It will be for the next video, I think. Yeah. Okay. So the I will say I don't think it's the benefit on that one, but when you do a refinance, what happened there is that you're gonna lose the 3% rate. Okay,
that's correct.
That's the downside. So that's the reason they made HELOCs, because now you have a 3% rate that a lot of people they don't want to lose, but they want to get a 200,000 line of credit. So the line of the HELOC let's say you want to get a HELOC of 200,000. So that one is going to be how much is the rate right now for the HELOC?
The rate can range, the interest rate can range anywhere between, of course, it's based on credit score, anywhere between 6.5 and maybe close to 7.875. So let's just call it a blended rate of 7.25.
Okay, let's do 6.5.
Sure.
I love that. I love the smallest rate, like everyone else. Okay, so if you get a HELOC for 200,000 at 3.5, at least you still have for the big loan, you still have the 3%. So that's the reason a lot of people prefer to have a lower rate on the get a HELOC, so that way they don't lose the 3% rate.
That's correct.
Right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, perfect. So that's
I'm going to do a calculation for you on the payment right now.
Okay, sounds good. Now, let me give you guys an example. Now, the 200,000, you can use it for many things. Let me put it back. Now, let's do some plannings, okay? And we had a lady yesterday. We're never gonna provide names due to privacy, but we had a lady yesterday that came to our office, and she's applying for a HELOC. And we're giving some options, but the benefit of that is she has a lot of equity on her home. Her home is almost 850,000. I believe she has only 137,000 on the main loan, but she wants to build. She wants to pay off some debt that she has right now. She also wants to get a HELOC for an ADU. Okay, so like we mentioned on this example right now, you can get a HELOC without touching your main loan. You lower rate, you can get a HELOC, and you're able to build an ADU. Now, when we're doing the math, how much is for? Let's say we do 120,000 HELOC. How much will be the payment?
Okay, let's double check here. The payment would be $758.50.
758.
Yeah, dollars for $120,000 HELOC.
Okay, so look at this. You have a lot of equity, and that's the beauty of real estate. Are you able to move money without touching your pockets? Because nowadays, a lot of people, there's a lot of inflation, and a lot of people, they don't have a lot of cash bank accounts to say, hey, I'm gonna get 120,000 and I'm gonna build a house. A lot of people, they don't want to refinance, get money out because they have a super low rate. They don't want to lose that. So if you get a HELOC, like this example right now, you can get a HELOC of 120,000. Usually, more or less, that's the cost to do a conversion of a garage into a studio. Okay, 120,000 average, and you're able to build an ADU in 6 months. Okay. Now, yes, you're gonna have a second payment of 758. But you're gonna have a second payment, but you're also gonna be getting mortgage. You're gonna become a landlord and getting rent on that one as well. So if you rent a studio for 1,700, that's more or less the cost of a studio. I can say in LA, even more expensive in some locations. After paying the loan, the 758, you still have an average between $900 to $1,000 a month that you didn't have on your garage to make it into ADU. Okay.
Yep, exactly.
So that's one of the options. And the lady that we met yesterday, that's the strategy that she's looking. Hey, how can I utilize my equity and be able to purchase or build an ADU? In this case, she has the land. The best option for her was, let's build an ADU first. And then we can see the option to buy an investment property in the future, hopefully in the next six months or a year. But the first step right now is going to be building an ADU, get the money from the equity, and make sure to make it to put it to work more than anything.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. It's basically just leveraging your equity, like you're saying, Edwin. And more importantly, if you work with a team like us, you're definitely absolutely going to get a lot of knowledge without any cost, of course, because remember, when you meet with us, if you speak with us or meet with us in person, the consultation is completely free. we can create a game plan of strategy of real estate for you for either generational wealth or, like Edwin's saying, like the client wants, she wants cash flow. She wants to be able to add a door to her property of portfolio and then later buy another property, etc.
Yeah. I'm still trying to play with this camera.
Oh, for the convert. Oh, there you go.
There you go. By the way, it's the opposite. Now I'm happy.
Yes, that's perfect. Yep.
Okay,
you can read
now I can do the example. And this is gonna be the second example.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so now you can see the numbers correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, it's not the brightest, but at least I'm gonna do everything in black. Okay, so this is the loan. Okay, and this is the equity. Okay, and this is option number. This is the third option how you can use a HELOC. So you have a 431,000. Let's say you want to buy a multi-unit property. Okay, and you don't want to put nothing out of pocket. Everyone who's watching this video, make sure you do a lot of notes on this one. Okay.
Yep.
So you have your payment at a 3% rate. Okay. Now you're gonna be able to get a HELOC of 200,000. Okay, at a 6.5 rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
The payment on that, by the way, is only $1,264.
Okay. So the new payment is gonna be
$1,264.
$1,264. And again, this is just estimates, is not exactly the number. Every scenario will be a little bit different depending on the FICO score and the client as well. Okay. So that's option number one. Now, what are you gonna do with this 200,000? You're gonna move it into a fourplex. Okay. You're gonna move into a fourplex with a 25% down payment. So that would give them a purchase price. You guys can see everything good.
Yeah.
Of 800,000. Okay, so that's the last option. You know, you have a 431,000 of equity in your home that is sitting and is not doing absolutely nothing. Okay, you can get a HELOC for 200,000. Okay, don't touch the first loan. The payment is only 1,264. You can become an investor. Okay, buy something with 25% down, because now this is an investment property. You need a minimum of 25% down. You can do a DSCR loan where you don't have to provide taxes, income, pay stubs. Technically, if you have the 25% down and you're able to cover dollar per dollar the payment, you can buy up to 800,000 of multi-units. You can buy duplex, triplex, or fourplex with that specific loan. And Jeremiah, how much money he needed from his bank account?
Technically nothing, because like Edwin said, you can use the money from your equity of your property. So realistically, like Edwin's been saying this whole time, keep your liquid assets where they're at for either future renovations, future rainy days, or just a savings nest egg, and use your equity to build your portfolio of real estate.
Rich people, smart people, they invest money using someone else's money.
Absolutely. Leveraging debt is in order to become rich. Yes.
If you're saying you're gonna wait so many years to save 200,000 to buy an investment property, it's gonna take you forever. Life will happen. You're gonna spend the money on emergencies, etc. Is not. Hold on. I have a microphone now. It's not gonna happen fast.
Yeah.
You know, you have a lot of equity on the property. Use it. You know, there's different strategies. This is one of them that we help multiple clients, multiple families, where you can use the equity in your home, move it super smart, take it out, and move it into an investment property. I'm not gonna tell you get a HELOC, go buy a brand new car, go buy a Hummer. No, make sure you put money out, put it to work, and you can you can build an ADU. That was one of the examples. You can use it by a multi-units, and yes, you're gonna have a payment of 1,264. But guess what? You will own a multi-unit property that will be making positive rent. That's the goal. Make sure you buy something that will be positive that can also help you offset the payment of 1,200 a month. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
if you guys want a strategy plan, how can you make one of these two moves? Feel free to reach out. We do this day and night. Where we help families make strategies how to either add more portfolio through a second unit or how to buy a multi-unit with nothing out of pocket. Yeah, you're still gonna put down payment, but that money is coming directly from the equity of your home. If you move it smart, you can do it in less than 2-3 months. You will be able to buy your first multi-family, even though you don't have the saving on the bank account, even though you don't have the income enough to qualify for multi-units, because we're going to be able to put out a HELOC so you can buy that multi-unit without income taxes.
That's correct.
Boom. Let me remove the microphone so I can drop it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, okay, so to kind of piggyback off of what Edwin's saying regarding use your equity versus trying to save 200,000. By the time most families can save $200,000, if they were like eyeballing a property at 800,000, by the time they save up 200,000, if it takes either 5 years or 10 years or longer, guess what? That property is now not worth 800,000. It's worth either 850, 900, maybe even close to $1 million if it's a decade or more, just based on traditional appreciation of real estate. And so basically what that means is don't sit on the money. Let the money create more equity for other multi-properties or other properties that you want to leverage by purchasing, like Edwin's scenario, or even the ADU. You're still that's only gonna appreciate your property that much more because now you have more added livable square feet. Don't forget that as well as an ADU.
Yes. And again, it's nothing out of pocket. There's so many things where you can move the equity. Like the lady we met yesterday, if everything goes well, primero Dios que sí, she's going to be able to, the plan that we made for her, she's going to be able to, one, to pay off her debt. So she's going to be debt free. Second, she's going to build an ADU, and the ADU is going to make positive money after it's finished and everything. And she's going to be in way better position than what she is right now. That's the goal. We help multiple families where they're like, hey, I have equity. Like for example, I wanna retire. I wanna make sure I have some rental income, but I don't know how to do it. My income is not too much. It's a fixed income. How can I buy that? And this is one way how you can do it. How you able to use your equity on your advantage and make sure you're able to become more wealthy, because that example we provided right now, the property is only 750. If this client, if this is an example, right? If someone will do something like this from 750, it's going to increase to 1.5 million. I don't want to say the word equity, but portfolio, because now they have a property 750, possible multi-unit of 800,000. That's a 1.5 portfolio. Now, this person also is becoming a landlord who's now has 4 doors of rental, or 2 or 3, depending on what they decide to purchase. Also, if you put a calculation, 3 to 5% increase annually of equity in the property, instead of a 750, 3 to 5% more, is 1.5, 3 to 5% more. So, in so many ways, this is one of the many strategies we help with families. But give us a call. I won't tell you more. Give us a call. We can make a free appointment for you guys and make sure that you guys are winning this year, next year, and the future.
Absolutely. Very true.
Are you here?
Great advice,
Yes.
Edwin. Yeah, same here.
Yes.
Like Edwin's saying.
30 minutes is off. Go for it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, thank you so much for having me as one of your guest speakers. It's always a pleasure working with you and your clientele. Please, for anybody that's interested, even if the question is not even that you have equity yet, maybe you're not even a homeowner yet, let us help you become a homeowner so then we can have a second conversation just like this one in the near future for you guys.
Yes. So give us a call. Thank you, Jay. Today's topic, it was bomba, papa. It was good. I hope a lot of people will get a lot of information. Hopefully they hear, but they act more than anything.
That's true. Thank you. Have a great day, folks.
So we see you guys next Thursday.